So according to Ancelotti, Barca is dead right now, and there is not much evidence out there to prove him wrong. But the last time a very strong and informed Real Madrid underestimated a pretty struck down Barcelona, this is what happened.
देखा आपने लापरवाही का नतीजा है.
So hello fellow coolers, how are you all doing, and welcome back to another episode of Talking Tiki-Taka, and this is a El Clásico edition and looking forward to are we really looking forward to? I'm not sure for this match. This is a very tricky schedule and very tricky match for both of the teams, and both of them are going to face the pressure, to say the very least. So what are going to be the main talking points going into this game, and who are going to be the players to look out and some of the key factors? This is basically what we are going to talk about in this video. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So first of all, these are some of the things that I feel that will give Barcelona a little bit of edge, and if they can capitalize on that, there is a very good chance that they can come out on the other side as the winners. And this goes against sort of the run of form that both the teams are in right now. But here are some of the main things that I feel that Barca needs to get right. And first of all, Xavi has to take the blame for last match against Inter. Some of the decisions were absolutely crucial and he got all of it wrong. Not starting Balde, going with a very untested PK who had absolutely almost no experience. Yes, I'm going to give him that much, that he didn't have much options. He has not been playing PK in the league matches and all. But I think playing Marcos Alonso in the centre back and playing Andre Balde would have been the clearer and most accurate choice to make, and the safest also. But trying out Marcos Alonso's tried and tested Champions League experience was something that probably some of you can defend. But these are some of the decisions that Xavi has to get right, and this is the first thing: the starting lineup and all the players performing in the back. Because I have started this video talking about the back line, and right now if Koundé plays and if he's not started on the right back, then there is at least one position that we can be somewhat sure of, and this is a very crucial call from Xavi as well, because there are not many options in the right back as well. So where do you play Koundé? Does he stay in his preferred position in the centre back, or you put him on the right back and see what happens? Because this is something that we have seen Koundé doing relatively well, but something that he doesn't really enjoy. And in a match like El Clásico, you need every single player to be at the top of the game in the preferred positions where they can contribute most. So this, I think, is one of those issues that Xavi can only make a call and expect it to work out, because they are, for me right now, with all the injury conundrums that we have, there cannot be a clear-cut right call. Next thing that Xavi must pay an incredible amount of attention to are the wingers. There has been a lot of talk and debate going out there about where and how to play Rafinha, because he has been in a very good form in the international circuit and playing very well for Brazil, but when it comes to Barcelona, something seems like it's missing. And there's a lot of frustration also going on from the part of the player, as we have seen in the last match. After being substituted, he was not happy. And we have seen that pretty consistently in the player in last few matches. And this is very worrying, because Rafinha is the winger that Xavi wants. So even before Xavi came into Barcelona, his ideology and his playing style were known and confirmed depending on the wingers. So two players on two wings or two sides needs to open up the field, which basically we call stretching the field. If the field is stretched out, then it's more easier for players like Pedri, Gavi, De Jong, Busquets to orchestrate the game from the midfield. And what they can do better then is find the gaps, finding those key passes, those through balls. And if the wingers don't stretch the field, then it becomes a little bit more difficult. So on that aspect, Dembele and Rafinha has been playing just almost as Xavi wanted them to play, and it's not really working out for Rafinha. And as far as Dembele is concerned, I can see a lot of frustration among the coolers about him not being able to perform on a consistent basis. But there is a counter argument to that as well, because if you look at all the matches that Barcelona has played this season, Dembele has been instrumental. Dembele, yes, 7 out of 10 times probably he won't deliver on the level that he is expected of, but the 3 times he does is either a goal or a clear-cut opportunity or a player that makes a difference. And there are unfortunately not a great deal of player out there in the squad right now, especially after the injuries, who could really do that. And in my opinion, playing Rafinha on the right is a clear option. There is absolutely no way you can play Rafinha on the left, where Dembele, being two-footed, probably the most two-footed player in the world right now, you have the luxury to play him either on the right or on the left. But you have clearly a very good quality winger who prefers to play on the right. There is absolutely no point playing him on the left wing when other winger is comfortable playing on the left wing. So this for me and for a lot of people out there is a very clear and very visible option, and I think Xavi should utilize that even more. And there needs to be a little bit more of vote of confidence from the part of Xavi for Rafinha, because that seems to be missing, and it's almost unfair on the player, because he has been trying his best. He made sure he comes to Barcelona in this window, and the player deserves a bit of confidence and respect from the part of the manager and the fans as well. So the final and what I feel is going to decide the match is the midfield, and more specifically the usage of De Jong and Kessié in the midfield. So what the Champions League horror stories of last 4 or 5 years have taught us, if anything, is that players like Piqué, players like Busquets, players like Jordi Alba, they have been a servant of the club, loyal servant of the club, and there is absolutely no arguing the fact that these are legends. These are absolute legends of Barcelona, and I will be hanging their pictures in my home alongside Cruyff, alongside all the other legends, Ronaldinho's, Messi's and Iniesta's of the world. But what they need to understand is everything comes with an expiry date, and it's not one match, it's not 2 matches, it's been season after season, year after year, matches after matches, that these players are doing mistakes that are costing us the result and costing us the match and leagues and trophies as a result. So this goes without any doubt and confusion that we have to make sure that the proper midfield trio is in place, and there cannot be a place for Busquets. He can be an utility player, he can come in as a substitute, but if you build the team around Busquets even now, where you have players who can replace him, you cannot expect a midfielder to come in and replace Busquets overnight. What he has been doing for Barcelona for last 1 decade, that golden team, that golden generation that have won everything, this is something that you cannot expect to be replicated overnight. So you have to give the players the time, the bonding, the gelling that they require with other players. This is something that you have to provide the players with. Otherwise, there will be no combination. There will be no players where, let's say, understands Pedri on a level that Messi used to on the first season that they played together, even without knowing them previously. So that kind of bonding, that kind of gelling, you need the players to sort of build that relationship over a course of time. If you just let's say substitute them, try out new formulas, try out new trios in every single game, then it's not going to work out, because these players have not grown up in La Masia like Xavi, Messi, Iniesta, Busquets did. So you have to give them the time, and it cannot be built around a player that is on his twilight, in fact beyond twilight. And let's say even if you have to bring a center back from our La Masia team or the Atleti team that is being called right now, so even if that's an option that we have to look into, but we cannot rely on Piqué on big matches. If it's, again, let's say Celta, if it's another league match, with all due respect to all the let's say lesser teams out there, but on the big matches, on big matches like Champions League qualifiers, on matches like El Clásico, you cannot rely on players who have shown that they cannot be counted on year after year, season after season. So with all due respect to all these legends of the game that I respect and love and admire from the deepest corner of my heart, also it's a reality that they have to step down. So in the midfield, the clear choice for me is De Jong as a pivot and Gavi and Pedri. In the last match, which was pretty abundantly clear that this midfield trio of Busquets, Pedri, and Gavi is not working on big matches where high intensity teams are playing, or teams playing on counter attacks. Busquets do not have the legs to run back and catch all the players. So these are some of the main key factors that I feel going into the El Clásico is going to play a huge role. And if Xavi gets them correct, then I can expect Barcelona to, if not win, at least compete on a level that they have done in the first half against Bayern Munich, against Inter Milan in the first half, and pretty much prior to the international break in all of the league matches that they have done. And as far as Real Madrid is concerned, there is not much to talk about or analyze because I haven't seen enough of Real Madrid this season. But what I have seen in the highlights and post-match analysis of some of the games, what I understand is they have done a very smart business in this window, getting in players like Rudiger, having Alaba, and just reinforcing what they already have as strengths. Losing Casemiro was, I think, at the time felt a bit of a surprise, but the replacement that they have in Tukemani and Camavinga, these players are for the future, pretty much like Pedri and Gavi. And for once, this Real Madrid team seems to be based not only on experience and counter-attacks. They have more ammunition, they have more weapons in their arsenal, and this gives them, obviously they are going into this match as favorites, there are no two ways about it. But what Real Madrid also needs to be very careful and aware of is to not underestimate a struck down team, because what we have seen over the course of last 10, 20, 15 years is that when you are going into an El Clásico, there are no forms, don't really matter, because both the teams will be as motivated as possible and they would both want to come out on the other side as the winners. And what happened in last match or last few matches doesn't really count, doesn't really matter. Once the whistle blows and it kicks off, there's only one thing in the minds of the players, and that's all-out war. So I am extremely excited, a bit nervous, a bit anxious, but what I believe is that we definitely have what it takes to win, and we definitely have all the reasons to believe in this team, including Xavi. Absolutely Xavi. There is absolutely no question of doubt as far as I am concerned that Xavi is the man. Xavi for me is the manager that Barcelona needs right now. There are some things he needs to get right, but Xavi for me is the biggest factor. And what he does with the players he has in his arsenal, it's going to basically decide the match. So what are your opinions and what you feel? Leave down in the comment section below and we can have a conversation about it all together. And regardless what happens tomorrow, there's absolutely no doubt that Barcelona this season has a long way to go. There are a lot of big matches coming up, especially in this month. So let's keep our optimism and enthusiasm high, and Visca el Barça.